Tunisian people, or Tunisians, are a Maghrebi ethnic group and nation native to northern Africa, who speak Tunisian and share a common Tunisian culture and identity. In addition, a Tunisian diaspora has been established with modern migration, particularly in Western Europe, namely France, Italy and Germany. The overwhelming majority of Tunisians are of Berber descent. Prior to the modern era, Tunisians were known as Afrika, from the ancient name of Tunisia, Ifriqiya or Africa in the antiquity, which gave the present-day name of the continent Africa. Today, the ethnic identity of Tunisians is the product of a centuries-long historical trajectory, with the Tunisian nation today being a junction of the Amazigh and Punic substratum, as well as Roman, Sicilian, Arab, Andalusian, Vandal, Byzantine, Norman, Turkish, and French cultural and linguistic input. Numerous civilizations and peoples have invaded, migrated to, or have been assimilated into the population over the millennia, with influences of population from Phoenicians, Carthaginians, Romans, Vandals, Greeks, Arabs, Normans, Italians, Spaniards, Ottoman Turks, Janissaries and French. The first people known to history in what is now Tunisia were Berber people of the Capsian culture. Related to the Numidians, Phoenicians settled Tunisia during the 12th to the 2nd century BC. Founded ancient Carthage, the migrants brought with them their culture and language that progressively spread from Tunisia's coastal areas to the rest of the coastal areas of northwest Africa, the Iberian Peninsula and the Mediterranean islands. From the 8th century BC, most of Tunisians were Punics. When Carthage fell in 146 BC to the Romans, the coastal population was mainly Punic. But that influence decreased away from the coast from the Roman period until the Islamic conquest. Latins, Greeks and Numidian people further influenced the Tunisians, which were called Afrika, Africans. From the Muslim conquest of the Maghreb in 673, a small number of Arabs, Persians and other Middle Eastern populations settled in Tunisia, which was called Ifriqiya, from its ancient name the Roman province of Africa. In the early 11th century, Normans from the Kingdom of Sicily took over Ifriqiya and founded the Kingdom of Africa, which lasted from 1135 to 1160. Muslim refugees from Sicily and Malta were encouraged by the Normans to settle in Tunisia during this period. After the Reconquista and expulsion of non-Christians and Moriscos from Spain, many Spanish Muslims and Jews also arrived. According to Matthew Carr, as many as 80,000 Moriscos settled in Tunisia, most of them in and around the capital, Tunis, which still contains a quarter known as Zuqaq al-Andalus, or Andalusia Ali. During the 17th to the 19th centuries, Ifriqiya came under Spanish, then Ottoman rule and hosted Morisco then Italian immigrants from 1609. Tunis was officially integrated into the Ottoman Empire as the Iale of Tunis, eventually including all of the Maghreb except Morocco. Under the Ottoman Empire, the boundaries of the territory inhabited by Tunisians contracted. Ifriqiya lost territory to the west and to the east. In the 19th century, the rulers of Tunisia became aware of the ongoing efforts at political and social reform in the Ottoman capital. The Bey of Tunis then, by his own lights but informed by the Turkish example, attempted to effect a modernizing reform of institutions and the economy. Tunisian international debt grew unmanageable. This was the reason or pretext for French forces to establish a protectorate in 1881. A remnant of the centuries of Turkish rule is the presence of a population of Turkish origin. Historically, the male descendants were referred to as the Kholeflis. Independence from France was achieved on March 20, 1956. The state was established as a constitutional monarchy with the Bey of Tunis, Muhammad VIII Al-Amin Bey, as the King of Tunisia. In 1957, the Prime Minister Habib Bourguiba abolished the monarchy and firmly established his neo-Destore party. In the 1970s, the economy of Tunisia expanded at a very healthy rate. Oil was discovered and tourism continued. City and countryside populations drew roughly equal in number. Yet agricultural problems and urban unemployment led to increased migration to Europe. The 84-year-old President Bourguiba was overthrown and replaced by Ben Ali, his prime minister, on November 7, 1987. However, the Ben Ali regime came to an end 23 years later on January 14, 2011, in the events of the Tunisian Revolution, following nationwide demonstrations precipitated by high unemployment, food inflation, corruption, a lack of political freedoms like freedom of speech and poor living conditions. Following the overthrow of Ben Ali, Tunisians elected a constituent assembly to draft a new constitution and an interim government, known as the Troika because it was a coalition of three parties. The Islamist Ennahda movement in the lead, with the center-left Congress